Hey, this is Nick and Nikolai from Cometa Camera, and we've got a great Black Friday deal for you.
All right, let's see what we got today.
All right, today we have the Panasonic Lumix G7.
And that is the silver color, I believe.
Yes, technically it's called silver, but it's more of a gray color, kind of a gunmetal gray. And it also comes in another color. If you could call it a color, it's actually the absence of color, right?
Black.
Yeah. So anyway, it comes with a 14 to 42 millimeter image stabilized lens.
And they both come with lenses, we just didn't put it on that one.
Correct. And this nice lightweight camera also comes at a lightweight price. For the Black Friday season, we have it for $499.
Wow.
Now, normally it's $799. You get $300 off, and that's available until December 3rd. So this is a great time to get your G7.
And just to reiterate on that, that's longer than Black Friday weekend, correct?
Oh yeah, so most of the deals that are Black Friday only go for a few days. Panasonic's upping their game and letting you get this great deal for a much longer time. So until December 3rd, you can get this G7 for just $499.
Awesome, so let's talk about some other features of the camera.
All right, well, first and foremost, the Lumix G7 is a 4K camera, and actually the most affordable 4K mirrorless camera out there, especially at that price.
Yes.
All right, so 4K means that when you're shooting video, you get 4 times the resolution of full HD.
Which is a lot.
It's a lot of resolution, and you know, now that 4K TVs are starting to come down in price, you'll be able to put that to good use sooner rather than later.
And I believe Panasonic is very well known for their 4K cameras too, correct?
Not only 4K, but also video in general.
Yes.
Panasonic's been in the video and TV production game for a real long time, so you know you're going with a good brand. As far as 4K goes, you also get what's called 4K photo, meaning that you can take a video or you can take short clips of video, and then you can pull a frame out of that video and save it as a JPEG.
So you don't have to do any of that annoying taking a picture while you're taking the video, it just does it automatically now.
Well, basically, you don't have to decide whether you want a still or a video. You can do both at the same time, so that's great, especially if you're trying to record special moments when your kids are growing up or whatever.
I'd say that's really good for a family man.
Yes, yes it is. I have to decide between stills and videos all the time, and usually we go for the stills, but I'd like to have those videos, and now I can have them in glorious 4K. Anyway, so 4K also allows you to use a function called post focus.
I've heard about this.
Yes.
So please explain.
What basically it is, it's a focus bracketing function. So when you shoot these little clips, it actually takes a lot of different photos at different focal points.
Yes.
So that way you can choose, using this nice big touch screen here, you just put your picture on the screen, and then you select what thing on the screen you want to have in focus. And that makes it much easier to do sort of creative things, especially when you're working with a nice blurry background.
Awesome.
Yep. So that's a really cool feature, and while I had this open, I should talk about the LCD.
Well, first you already mentioned it's touchscreen.
Yep, you've got a touchscreen LCD. It flips all the way around.
Selfies.
For selfies and for group photos. And of course, if you're looking for group photos, it has Wi-Fi enabled, so no problem there.
Yep, use your smartphone as a remote, and you can have your pictures put right onto your phone, so you can upload them to social media.
Yep, it's very easy. And you also have a nice electronic viewfinder here, so you can pick it up to your eye when it's bright outside and you get some glare on your screen. Also, if you just prefer to shoot that way.
And the awesome thing about that, again, is when you're viewing it in there, you get a nice preview of what your picture's gonna look like before you snap it.
Right, so you know how your picture will be exposed before you actually hit the shutter.
Yes.
All right, so one other thing I should mention is autofocus speed. Now, there are other cameras out there that have very fast autofocus speed. So does this one, as fast as 0.07 seconds.
Wow,
it's super fast. It's less than a blink of an eye, so that you know that you won't miss those shots that are really important to you. And we also have, let's see, silent shooting, I should mention.
Yes.
Sometimes when you're shooting, you don't want to make a lot of noise. Maybe if you're at a wedding or you know, you're in a place where you don't want to make a scene. You want to have nice silent shooting. This uses an electronic shutter so that when you're shooting pictures, it'll be nice and quiet, even if you're shooting at a fast burst rate.
At like a silent night, maybe?
That's a very timely Christmas reference, Nick. Thank you very much.
And also I should mention, just because as I'm holding this, I almost forgot that I'm actually holding the camera because it's actually really light.
Yep, and a lot of that has to do with the lens, which is very compact, very tiny. And again, the camera is very lightweight. And it's also easy to use. So for novices who might be intimidated by an interchangeable lens camera, you can use an automatic mode and it'll basically act as a point and shoot. You can just pick it up, hold down the shutter, and start taking pictures right away.
And then when you want to actually start learning how to do manual photography, setting your shutter speeds, apertures, things like that, you can do that when you're ready on this camera with manual modes.
Absolutely. And with the 4K, there's lots of little, tricks and features in there that we haven't even mentioned that you'll, want to become acquainted with sooner rather than later. So there's so much to talk about with the G7. We just don't have time. But mainly, let's get this one thing across. It's $300 off until December 3rd. So you can get your Panasonic Lumix G7 plus a 14 to 42 millimeter lens
With a lens hood.
With a lens hood. That's a real, value item.
I like lens hoods.
For only $499, and you can get it
at Cometa.com.